Okay, hi everyone, good morning. Welcome to the Connected Mobility Hub investor event. Sorry, I'm just going to put on the branding that I haven't got the overlay for the hub, unfortunately, but I have got one for StartupLabs, so you can all see it's live. So I run investor relations at the hub. I'm just going to talk you through what the hub does very briefly. Here we go. Sorry. I've had the same problem I've just been showing everybody here connected. I have exactly the same problem. Okay, so you can now see my screen, and I'll do it in full screen. So now we can't see anything. Oh yeah, now it's back. Okay, so I'm just gonna to talk you through very briefly what the hub is, what we do. It says here we're a hub of 130 mobility startups. We're actually over 150 now, so I guess it's right in that we are over 130. We're actually on 150. It's pan-European. We did start initially in Spain, so Spain has a slightly larger proportion of startups than you would normally find across Europe. However, we are pan-European, and most of the latest startups have been from countries like Spain. And we built this 5 years ago now with the idea of building and supporting the entire ecosystem to help accelerate the general transformation of mobility. It's clearer every day now that there is a change in mobility. I guess COVID-19 has accelerated to a certain extent that change. But you know, 5 years ago maybe it wasn't so clear, and we've been working since then in trying to support the ecosystem generally. So I won't go through this. It's basically our philosophy is that we believe there is a change in mobility, and we're working to support it. So we support it in 4 different ways. We help startups with visibility. So we assist with networking, communication, events. We support a lot of events in terms of their section related to startups. We have a community, so obviously the startups that are now sitting in the back room, as it were, of the I don't know what you call it online, but that are waiting to come on screen, obviously part of that community. But we have a relatively active, I think quite active, community of startups, and not just startups. We also work with corporates, with investors, with people that just happen to be interested in the ecosystem. Open innovations, so we support about, at the moment, I think it's 150 open innovation pilots or projects, where we're assisting in putting the startup together with the corporate, and to a certain extent we're also supporting that pilot during its lifetime. And investment, where we have the platform Startup Includer, and we're actually going to move, I think, to something more simple. Keep it simple, stupid, as I say. Well, I'm obviously the stupid because I did it slightly more. I tried for a system that's slightly more complex, perhaps, than we should have done. I think we're going to move to something more simple. But in any case, at the moment we have 115. We have 115 investors within the community, and really I'd say there's more like 300. As part of this investor event, which is obviously online, we're doing the 4 pitching sessions. So today, next Wednesday, the following Tuesday, and the following Tuesday, so the 8th, the 15th, the 21st, and the 28th of July at 12 o'clock. And then we're doing the networking part of the event at the beginning of September. The idea of that is so that the startups have time to send decks out. You know, you can ask us for their decks, for their one-pagers. Some of you already have. And you get to know each other a little bit, or you get to know the project at least during the summer, August. And then at the beginning of September, we come back and we go straight into, okay, the real questions in terms of the networking. And we always do an investor to investor networking, because we believe that supports the ecosystem well as well. Next thing, so we work across all the stages of startups. This is a little bit where we're mainly European. We do have some investors and some startups that we cooperate with. Brazil isn't on here, but there's a very interesting startup that we've helped enter into the European markets as well, and there's a couple of US ones. Also, we've done, this is now our 4th investor event. We did one in November last year, but we always do one each year in sort of, well, it was normally May, but obviously COVID, it's been postponed a little bit. The pilots, I say, there's 65, there's actually 150 that we're working on, but there's only 65 that have become a reality. And then the number of startups in the community, et cetera, et cetera. Here are a load of the startups. You can see them all on our website. Some of the ones that are presenting today aren't on this list. Here are some of the events that we support. Again, I think this needs to be updated because I can see the EU Startup Prize for Mobility, for example, isn't on there, and we supported them this year as part of the jury. Corporates, here are some of the corporates that we've been working with or that we're in contact with, actively in contact with. And here's a load of the investors. These are people that have been to our investor events. They're not just those that are in the investor community, but there are obviously more. So same with the corporate. That's basically it. That you can obviously see the links. This is the team. So we're a relatively small team. There's only, I think Andrea is the only person that's actually completely full-time. The rest of us do it out of the love of it, and the years of experience, whatever. There's no need to say that. So I will stop sharing, and I will jump to Lionel. You're not sharing your screen, so I'm actually going to jump to somebody else first. So I'm actually going to jump to Xavier Reith from Smart Monkey, and he's going to do his presentation. So Javier, I'm just going to jump in, add your stream. I can see, yeah, you've got it all okay. I can see it here in the background, and I'll go off, and you've got 5 minutes. Okay.
Okay, give me a sec. Perfect. Okay. So what do they have in common, Volkswagen, Heineken, or Suez? They've been doing a process which is extremely important for the last mile operations manually, which is the planning. And doing this process manually generates a lot of inefficiencies. This remains us that they had an urgent problem to solve, and it's that managing the logistic knowledge into their companies. And this aligns really well with our vision. We want to improve the delivery experience, but not just for the final customer on their experience, but as well for the experience they represent on the drivers, on the managers, on the companies, the entire full vision. So let me show you how we've been able to improve the experience of these different companies. For example, for Heineken, we've demonstrated increments of savings of more than 30% in kilometers traveled and more than 1 hour that they could use to sell to more bars and restaurants. For Volkswagen, in the spare part distribution network, cost reduction of very close to 25% of their previous costs. And for Suez, a water utility company, increment the productivity of their field operations of more than 21%. These are just small results of how we are able to improve the efficiency of these companies just tackling one specific process, which is the planning. And we are working now on the full scale of this process. So what's the daily problem of these companies? Logistics and last mile are extremely chaotic. They require a lot of replanning and decisions that had to be placed in seconds. And these decisions are made by people, by their employees. So they rely on their knowledge. And this is a risk that these companies are suffering. With the Smart Monkey, they had the tool to take these decisions in a completely autonomous way, really fast, and with all the knowledge that we are able to grab it in order to create a very extremely valuable data asset. So what makes us unique? Our self-learning route optimizer allows them to grab all this knowledge that currently it's just on the minds of the drivers. How much time do they spend in a specific customer, where they park, which is the best moment to serve on a specific customer. This is extremely important information that makes logistics more efficient. And with all this information now created into an asset of the company, we create and we extract the value using our route optimizer that generates not just efficient routes, but as well adapted to their customer needs. How we do that? Basically, we merge all the data that the company has, and we generate this logistic knowledge base that later our route optimizer gets the value to increment more than 30% their efficiency. Of course, we are not alone. We have on the enterprise segment, enterprise solutions are extremely expensive, and most of the companies, of the logistic companies who are not that big, couldn't afford it. And of course, we have standard solutions, but the problem there is that the customers, the users, had to make sure that the data they're inputting is right, which most of the cases it is not. This is why smart mocking makes a lot of sense, because we're able to clean this data, and we are going to have not just efficient routes, but as well with all the learnings and all the experience of their drivers. How we make money? Basically, we charge per each driver and per each customer that we are learning. Easy to understand. And how we approach our customers. We've divided into two different segments: the direct acquiring of these customers. Basically, we have our own sales force who is focused on the big accounts, and the small accounts are going through outbound marketing and different sets of marketing. And the way we are going to scale this company is through the resellers channels, arriving to places that we were not able, or it would be extremely expensive for us. We already have assigned agreements with fleet managers, integrators, and ERP companies. And one of these examples is the assignment that we have signed with Supply Stack, an important logistic company in software, the logistic company in Netherlands, and for the project with the Stena Recycling, one of the most important recycling companies in the north of Europe. Of course, we have other reference into this market. These are the evolution of our sales. We are growing quite fast, but we are growing in Mexico, and we see Latin America as a huge market that we can tackle. One of the reasons is because we speak the same language, and most of our competitors didn't. This is the future we want to create together. We expect that in this year, at the end of this year, we arrive to the break even, and with your help, we've been able to grow exponentially on the next years. Of course, this is the team who make this possible. We have experience in logistics, we have experience in machine learning. My name is Trevor Reed. I'm the CEO and founder of Smart Monkey. My background is technical, but my passion is to lead teams to their succeed, especially on data analytics and big data. We have someone behind us. We have other investors, and what we are looking for is 150,000 euros, basically in public loans and private funding, which we already have 100,000 euros. What we are going to do with this money, we are increment the sales teams. The product is ready. We just need to grow. And of course, we want to develop much more features that customers are requesting us. This is why we want to invest as well in the product team. So I hope you want to join the future of logistics. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for that, Javier. I will add myself when we hit the 5 minutes. I guess you realized that was what I was adding myself. So okay, the idea is that if anybody has any questions during the pitch, if they could comment it online, and then we'll answer the questions during the 5 minutes. But what I will do at the end of all the pitches, I'll bring everybody back on the screen. And then we can answer all the questions at that point. At the moment, I can't see any specific questions for you, Javier, but I've got one. So I'll ask you that one, and then we'll jump on to Uliana, who needs to start sharing her screen by the looks of things. Yeah, she's now jumping to it. So Javier, you know, in the example you gave of the company that I can't remember what they were called. They began with an A, but you said that they were saving, I think it was 22% and 133,000 euros a year. Yep. Maybe it's a little bit difficult to give an exact figure, obviously because it's confidential. But could you give a sort of idea of the type of cost that there would be to generate that savings?
In that case, these numbers are we didn't calculate. It's the numbers that the customer, in this case Volkswagen, gave us. So we have like rough numbers that how much they are spending, but just as an idea, they're running around 150 vehicles for around 40 some facilities. So this is just as a number of how big the project was, and how the savings for them that you can more or less calculate. It was inside a much bigger project, so but in our part, that was like the planning of this project was quite extreme successful for them, and it makes for them not just the savings at the end. Of course, savings are important, but as well the ability to automate a very complex process that for them it's worse the risk than the cost of the operation. So imagine for automotive industry, not servicing a customer, you can basically lose this customer, and the customer will basically start buying to another competitor. And it's not just what you've lost one day, it's what you are gonna lose on the following months or even years. So the lifetime value of a customer is really, really huge. So the service, and this is a trend.
I don't know if that's me or it's Javier. I think it's Javier. Are you back? If not,
hello.
Yeah, you're back.
Okay.
You're back.
Sorry. So what I was saying is that for this company, the most important part is giving an Excel service. Yeah. Because the lifetime value of their customers is extremely huge, and if you don't serve when it's supposed to be served the spare part, basically you're gonna lose a customer, and not just on the spare part distribution, but in others. It's a very, very important part.
Okay, I'm gonna jump to some questions because we've got 3 of them now. It's a bit of an echo on your side.
Okay.
I can share your screen so you could jump to monetization again if you want.
Yeah, monetization. Yeah, basically, I'll try to answer. It's basically we charge per each vehicle of the customers, and for each customer that we are learning from. So these are like starting prices, but there's as an example.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to jump to Joan's question. If you don't want to share it.
Yeah, the valuation, this is something that we always love to talk in private. I mean, we already have one valuation that these 100,000 euros, all the investors have agreed on it, but this is something that we would love to discuss. You have my contact, so feel free to contact me and we can discuss this personally.
Okay, and then Candice has a question as well.
Currently, we have close to 400 vehicles managed in different companies. The biggest company had 100 vehicles, and we are growing like monthly quite fast in that way.
Okay, and then the last question, and then we'll jump to Juliana's pitch.
What is sustainability add even more value? Of course, this is a side effect of our technology. As saving 30% of the kilometers traveled, you save 30% of the emissions. But the reality is that companies are not buying the solution because of this. This is why we don't make it publicly. I mean, do some efforts. But of course, it's really important. We are and companies are starting to change, but it's still early for them to invest just because of that. But they
all right, cool. Well, thanks. Xavier, thank you very much. Just to remind everybody, I will be bringing them all back on the screen at the end. So if you have any questions, do keep asking, and I'll make sure to add them to screen when everybody's here. So, Juliana, it's all yours. I'll add the stream. I'll go and I'll put the timer on.
Okay. So can you see my screen, right?
Yeah. The moment we can see. Yeah, there you go. Okay. All right.
Let me present LetMePark. I would like to start my presentation with several questions for you to make you think a bit. So what is every single trip starts and ends with? What is the biggest driver's pain according to multiple surveys? Not my opinion, but multiple surveys. And what is the reason number one, including again to the multiple surveys, why people want to have autonomous car? And how many connected mobility services do you know? Here we are talking about, and we are participating in the part in the connected and autonomous car. And I exactly want to tell you that LetMePark here participating as one of the connected car mobility services. And this is the parking industry, and it is very boring, but extremely and desperately seeking for innovation. And that's why we created LetMePark, which is a unique parking service integrator with the largest parking network in Spain to search, book, pay, and access parking automatically. Maybe you understand what is a parking service integrator, which is integrate more than 20 different services in Spain, when you can see here in this slide. Due to this, we have the largest parking network that you can book, and very importantly, access automatically, which is the best user convenience. When you can just search, you enter, the door opens automatically, you park, you access, and your payment is also processed automatically. It's the best experience, the best convenience that you could ever have, and this boring and extremely inconvenient parking converts in something like so easy to go. And also it's connected to your car, and in this case, LetMePark is the first connected car parking service based on virtual assistant that uses your voice in your car and other most common user interfaces also in your car to manage the parking for the driver. And I'm here talking about something that's really working, completely working. It's not like prototype, it's a reality, and that's what we have inside the car already, right? How do we do this? We do it with the help of our robot parker that automates all the parking process, from searching for you according to your preferences, according to your habits. It books for you automatically. Again, with the voice, you can also do it. You can access to parking automatically. Again, with this automated access based on license plate reading, and the payment also processed automatically. And then you control also all your expenses. How do we do this? We do this with the calendar, which is our product for the corporate clients, that the people who has their meeting in the calendar, you can just put the meeting in your calendar and add Parker, like the person, to the copy of your event, and automatically you have your parking search, booked, paid, everything done for you. Another thing that I told you is the voice. We collaborate, and we have the collaboration with Amazon Alexa, and as you know, Echo Auto is already on. You maybe already saw this news, and via the golden skill for this for Alexa, that you can ask Alexa, find me the parking. It connects to LetMePark and search the parking, books you if you need, give you automatic access. You know, Alexa is already in the car. That's why I'm saying that it's like really connected car in the car. From your new Seat or from other cars, you can just ask the parking, and everything is like managed completely automatically while you're driving. That is the best user experience and the best convenience. Also, you can do it with the more common user interfaces, like a web app for people who are probably not so modern. We had to do this. And also WhatsApp, which is in development. You also can ask, is your WhatsApp, find me the parking, write in just a message to parking, send your location or where you need the parking, and I also manage for you automatically. It's up to you to make the reservation or no. Anyway, you have the automated access with like everything processed for you automatically, okay? Again, I want to stress here that we have the largest parking network, and here I'm comparing with the other parking providers, which is another, like enough parkings, but as the integrator, we always give the largest number. While ParkClick doesn't have the parking, TellPark has. But TellPark doesn't have, OpenGo has, okay? And in this case, we're also using the algorithms to find you the best parking. Not only because like the prices are really dynamic. In one area, you can have 30 parkings, all of them, they have different prices. Even the same parking has the different prices. So with our algorithms, we are searching, checking all the prices, all the information, and give you the best parking for you based on your preferences. It even can be the automatic the electric charger that we probably also need in this parking.
Wait,
okay.
You've reached the 5 minutes, so if you could just be really quick, jump through it.
If you want more information, I'm going to share, but exactly what I wanted to share is exactly our idea and our business model. We charge 10% of every single parking session, and that's all. If you have any other questions, I prefer to share this in private, but to deliver the idea, that was my idea.
Brilliant. So what we're going to do, if anybody has any questions, they can fire away now, and as I say, at the end of the talks, we'll bring everybody back on screen, because, for example, I see that Oscar, we didn't answer one of his questions for Smart Monkey, but we'll answer it at the end. So Uliana, just one very quick question while we're waiting for other people to ask. If you could just give us an idea of traction. So you've shown us how many, you've got a larger base of car parking, but can you give us some figures regarding traction? I don't know, whether that's invoicing or number of reservations made or users registered or recurrence of users. I don't know, what any figures that you can give of that.
Okay, so really here I cannot share you like huge numbers, as we really were based on building the product. We were building the product this year with Amazon Alexa to deliver this product, testing it with our test users. So now we have around 200 users that depends on the months, right? Not was like the last 4 months during the quarantine, but using this service. And now we are exactly looking for the investor that they are here to focus on the marketing and to start to advertise our product. For now, I will be very important start with Alexa. That we believe for us it will be much easier to start with such an important collaboration and traction. Another collaboration that we have is this Europcar, and we are going to give the parking so the people who are taking the Europcar for renting. So now it starts our second part of the history product. Now the traction. And if you organize in a couple of months another investor event, I would be happy to share like better metrics. But for now, it's.
Well, I'm just going to put Candice's question on screen here, but just in terms of, okay, so there's not much traction in terms of total number of users, but how frequently do you find that the users are using it? I mean, how much time are you actually saving them? How often are they making use of the service?
Okay, so
and I'll put on Candice's, and then you can answer herself.
But it was a lot of information. But we are saying that average price is about €7, and from all the users, not this situation, but like on comments, 30% of total active users, and they're using active users use about twice a week the parking.
Okay, cool.
And again, if you want, I'm going to share the business model, but taking into account all this, that we already have this kind of membership from our client that we already have. That's also some clients that are B2B, the companies, okay, that use our service for the sales people or for the technical people. So that is like.
Fantastic. And if you could just answer Candice's question, and then and then we'll probably cover. There are no others at the moment, so I'll jump onto Antonio afterwards.
Okay.
So again, the business model you were explaining was the 10%, but if you can.
Yeah, I can say this is 10% from every single parking. Okay. And again, here we also have the reservations and the parkings with automated access. We're not talking only about reservation, because reservation is another type of user. This market is not so big, but the parking that every single day you go, and there are a lot of parking that you even don't know. You just enter and you don't even need a reservation, maybe just searching, or even if you don't search, you just enter and that parking is this available already for you, and the payment will be automatically. So here basically this business model.
And you charge 10%, I understand it, on whatever the type of parking. You charge 10% of the fee.
Yeah. Anyway, it will be the reservation, which will be like, of course, like 15 euros average price. There are like, if you go to airport parking, I understand that it's like here the price is really very high. But on average, it will be like 15 euros for the reservation, and about 7 euros the normal parking that you go to the dinner or meeting will be about 7 euros.
Okay. All right, great. So I'm gonna say goodbye to you, and I'm gonna add Antonio, and if anybody has any additional questions for you, that they can go asking, and I'm writing down the people to add the questions at the end, even though they won't be in order. Thank you, and Antonio, all yours. Hi. I'll add the screen and I'll get rid of myself, and you've got 5 minutes from. I can't hear you, Antonio. I don't know if it's okay. Now okay. Now you've got 5 minutes. Okay.
Cargobici is a startup that offers a vertical logistic solution to fix the last mile city problem, because the last mile operations it's a problem for the cities and for the operators in the city, by congestions, the degradation of public space, and the price of logistic square meters. Our core business is the production of cargo bikes with a load capacity of 300 kilograms, but we'll iterate Doom project with several local players. Our proposal is to create a network of small micro hubs with neighbor facilities where the goods can be consolidated before being delivered to the end customer, reducing up the 15% the logistic traffic inside the low emission zone under the criteria of environmental and economic sustainability. Sorry. We work with several partners like Malta, with the good flows and stakeholders survey. We want to consolidate all the goods that arrive into the city to be delivered in a single project. With Simalsa, we can to access to the local projects. With our consultancy of big data analysis, we can make a big data analysis process of existing data that defines where there is more demand in the last mile, and allow us to predict where is the greatest demand will occur to determine the best place to locate the micro SIM and meet the community with the city. We have now the place, and then in a process of collaborative construction, based on the result of this study, we can, encompassing with the economic society, civil society, and public bodies, how they want to be this public space. with urbanistic tactic measures, and place to be used when the logistic operation are closed. We will make these operations with bikes that can be loaded with 300 kilograms. Are the most efficient, ecological, and economic vehicles of the market. It's produced locally in Denmark, Germany, and now in Spain and Portugal, from in Barcelona, with social parameters, social inclusion. With Smart Monkey and Bonsu, we have a partnership to develop with these tools, integrating in our operations. We think we have the possibility to achieve 30% more efficiency, and will network with local partners, local producers, to give B2B service. And in this project,
in theory, we've finished, but be very quick, please. Wrap it up.
Sorry, in this project are interested in the metropolitan area of Barcelona and Lisboa City Council. We are in an early stage, but we think that in the autumn we can develop this project with public collaboration. We have another projects currently working, and we need a funding estimating 450 of private financing. Already obtained 100 euros, and our goal is 550,000 euros.
Okay, I'm gonna. Oh, sorry, I've taken it off. But for those of you who haven't seen Antonio before, this is the second time that I've put him through the torture of doing it in English. English isn't his strong point. But Antonio, it's clear what you're doing. You're doing innovative models of bicycles used for logistics deliveries. Could you, if anybody's got any questions, as always, add them to the stream, and I'll put them on screen. But whilst we're waiting for somebody to make a question, if you could just let me know, okay, how many bicycles do you currently have? What's your current traction? What you've talked about a couple of partners, town halls. What kind of customers are you focused on? You're having most traction with? If you could just give us some sort of idea of what stage you're at in terms of the business and the business model itself.
Well, we have the prediction to make in the next year over 100 bikes with high capacity. We are working with some business delivery market as Ulabox, we want to make a pilot test in Mercat del Ninot in Barcelona.
Yep.
But COVID stop our bikes in Denmark, and we will to make this pilot project in autumn. As in the in other side, we are working with Magic Badalona. It's a commercial shopping center that want to develop delivery service for their customer and the last mile of Badalona. We are working with our partners in the MOUS too, in the public resource of the ministry, to develop this project for at the end of this year in Barcelona and its metropolitan area.
Okay, but they're all pilots at the moment. Is basically the summary then of the situation. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. Because the cyclologistic resource in Spain are not developed yet. There is a local case like Cheetah in Donostia, Banapedal in Barcelona, or Mensus that is expand his model. But the business is not ready for make this transition. If you don't demonstrate, show how the bikes can help to their logistic operation.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, Antonia, thank you very much. We'll bring you back at the end in case anybody has any questions that they haven't answered at the moment. And I'm going to bring Ignacio on from Be My Car. So, Ignacio, I will add your stream and Perfect. I will leave. You've got 5 minutes from now.
Be My Car is revolutionizing the way people purchase new mobility solutions online. And to help you understand why users use Be My Car, I'd like to share with you a few thoughts. The first one is, what is the real difference between a 4.5 rated restaurant and a 4.2 rated one? Why do we assume a 7.5 rated hotel is not good enough for a romantic escape to Paris? Because online reviews are getting oversimplistic, and because they do not solve the specific doubts. And now, moving on to the mobility ecosystem, it is getting more complex every day. Now we have hybrid cars, electric cars, changing city regulations, car sharing, carpooling. A recent study showed that 42% of Spanish people do not know the difference between an electric car and a hybrid car. And in this context, we ask ourselves, what can we do so that the customer is better informed and can make a correct purchase decision? And that is why we decided to launch Be My Car. Be My Car enables users to make the right decision when buying a car. And the baseline underneath is very simple. We have on the one side, a person who is looking for a car, and we can connect them with people that actually drive that car or have been driving that car for the last months, to share their experience, to give them their opinion, and to give them advice about that purchase. Our technology allows any user that accesses a brand or dealership website the chance to ask a community of more than 3,000 car owners. They can have a one-to-one conversation in an honest and friendly atmosphere away from all the commercial pressure. Finally, we reward these owners with a small amount of money for their service. And you might be thinking right now, like, all right, it's pretty clear the value for the customer, but what does the dealership get? The brand or the dealership gets two things. The first one is that they can access a 24/7 acquisition service that acts as getting new buyers. And the second one is that they can improve the conversion rate thanks to our machine learning and natural language processing algorithms that can segment these marketing campaigns depending on the specific doubts of the user. If they have asked about the consumption, we will show them ads about the consumption. If they have asked about the accessories, we will ask them about the accessories. Having heard all this, you might probably be thinking, all right, but how does Be My Car make money? We have two different revenue streams. The first one is the Be My Car integration into third-party websites to allow their users to ask the community of Be My Car. This works with a monthly subscription depending on the number of users. The second one is an open portal and an app that allows every user to ask whatever they want to these car owners. And what we do here is that we sell the leads of potential buyers to brand and dealerships. And to do all this, we launch an initial MVP with an application that has more than 30,000 downloads and 10,000 registered users only in the Spanish market. A Spanish market that is one of the biggest ones in Europe, that has more than 2 million cars sold only in 2019, 50 million leads generated of people with interest of buying a car, and finally 500 million online users that visit the brands and the dealership websites. And to do all this, we have a fully dedicated and brilliant team. Me, myself, I am the CEO. I'm an industrial engineer and with passion for entrepreneurship. Isabel is our CDO, who is graduated in aerospace engineer and mathematics. Anna is the lead designer, and Miguel is the strategic manager of the project. And also, we count on the experience and the support of iGeneris and Motorpress, the two investors of this project. And to do all this, we have already tested the main hypothesis that we had at the beginning, and we are starting to run the first commercial pilots with dealerships here in Madrid. We need some financial support to create a tech and sales team to improve the algorithms and scale a solution to big clients. So having said all this, you right now know that Be My Car lets you discover, lets you gather information, and lets you make a correct purchase decision with this community of car owners in the automotive sector. But when we think about Be My Car, we think about something else. We think, why not also motorbikes? Why not mobile phones? Why not laptops or video cameras? Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Just in time as well. So, oh, sorry, I took you away rather than the screen. I didn't mean to do that. So thank you very much, Ignacio. That was brilliant. So it was right on time. So whilst we're just waiting for people, if they have questions to ask in the chat, I'll just ask you one very quickly. So obviously over the last couple of years, particularly, I guess since the Volkswagen situation, there's been a lot of uncertainty, let's say, in the market in terms of diesel, and obviously there's also a certain degree of uncertainty in terms of electric. When's electric going to come in? So there's this huge change between, okay, most people in Europe at least are buying diesel cars, and most people will have to at some point in time. We're not quite sure why buy electric. So I guess this is a huge interest because users aren't sure about what they're buying, and I've spoken to a number of concessionaries, car concessionaries, and they don't actually push electric cars as much as maybe they should, because obviously they earn money from the checkups, the annual checkups. There aren't so many annual checkups on electric vehicles. So I guess from a user perspective, it's even more important to get information from other users. That's just an idea that I have in my mind. Is that something that you're seeing on the platform?
Yeah.
If you are, I guess it's going to be an enormously increasing trend.
We have a high number of people asking about hybrid cars and electric cars, because the questions are not only about the actual product, which is the car, but they are also about how to charge the car, how to use it, how to drive it, how to install it in your house. Exactly. So it's true, it's a good opportunity for us, and we are trying how to confront it.
Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, right, now whilst you were asking that, I was asking that probably more whilst I was asking it and you were answering it. If you could just answer Oscar's question.
All right, this community of car owners we get in our platform, we pay them around €2 to €3, depending on the brand and depending on the answer they are giving and the feedback they have from the other users. We get these users from our marketing campaigns, and we are currently shifting from giving this money we give through PayPal for also paying them with fuel discounts, with making reparations from their car discounts. So all these rewards, they are given from us. They are not given from the other user. They are not given from the brand, because it's important for us to have this autonomy of the community.
Okay, just out of interest, whilst we wait for another question or we jump to the next person, what sort of conversion rate do you see? I assume there's an improved conversion rate on sales through user advice, but what sort of increase in conversion rate do you see? Because obviously that's the value to the car dealerships.
Sadly, that number, we don't have it yet. It's something we're testing out with the pilots we are currently running, and we have just started. We hope this conversion rate increases because we give the dealership, we give them these doubts the user has. So it's not only when a person comes into your store and you're trying to sell him an electric car, a diesel car, is he has doubts about the consumption or about the accessories, but we still don't have the number.
Okay, cool. All right, well, there's no more questions for the moment, so I'll bring you back at the end just in case any come in, and I'll bring on Jesus from Visiocargo. So thank you, and hello to, sorry, gotta scroll down here. Hello to Jesus, and I'll bring on your screen, and
Okay.
and I'll, when it comes on, at the moment it's all black.
It's all black?
Yeah, I can't see the presentation.
Okay, let me check it. Now can you see it now?
No. Yeah, it looks like something's about to happen. No.
No. Okay.
No. It started. The circle came on that was that looked like something was going to happen, but didn't.
Okay.
If not, what I can do,
start
because
again.
I can see Lionel's is running. Oh no, but he's not on. Here he is. So what I'll do, whilst you're sorting that out, I'll jump onto Lionel and then we'll come back to you.
Okay.
Oh no, it's on. It's on. Sorry, it's now.
on.
We can now see it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I'll leave you to it. You got 5 minutes.
Okay. Let me start it. Here it is. Okay, so hello everyone. I'm Jesus Santin from Visiocargo. I'm the CEO. And let's start. Visiocargo is part of an emerging sector defined by Gartner as real-time transportation visibility platforms. We are the first player in Europe, as well as in speaking countries. And the problem that we address is the lack of visibility in transportation, medium and long-distance shipments with full and less than a truckload. Actually, today we can know when we will receive a package of e-commerce. It does not happen yet with full truckloads and with industrial shipments in general. And that results in several problems like those we don't have here, instability, unpredictability, delays, and poor customer service. In the future, both visibility and traceability are essential. In the survey to supply chain executives that you see on your left, visibility has been rated as the top initiative in the supply chain to get funded. And Gartner estimates that by 2023, 50% of global leaders will have invested in visibility. And Visiocargo provides a solution to this problem by enabling a platform that aggregates a multitude of data, such as GPS telematic systems and shipment information from ERPs and TMS. Companies connect Cargo network with our own invitation system, which is similar to a social network. And all the stakeholders have real-time and predictive visibility of their ship, as well as alerts for potential delays. So they can rely on a proactive rather than a reactive management system that addresses problems before they occur. And this is the product slide. Here you can see 3 of our core value propositions. The first is internal control of shipments. You can see our control tower. The second is about sharing information with customers and with any final recipient of the goods. And the third is about data analysis and business intelligence with the data generated by the platform itself. And the business model is based on the sale of SaaS licenses with 3 standardized plans based on different sets of volumes and features. And we also offer tailored solutions for enterprise customers. And our customers can be either logistic providers and industrial shippers. Both of them can be our customers. Our state of maturity is early seed, and we have successfully completed the testing of the platform with several logistic companies in Spain. We start closing our first sales recently, so our metrics are not relevant yet. Our traction, we do not have metrics about that because we collecting them. We have our first customers. However, there are 2 considerations that I would like to share with you. The first is that we are pretty about the product market validation since other companies with similar features are growing with really high rates in other geographies. And by the other hand, there is a unique feature of Visiocargo that has been proved successful with our actual customers. I'm talking about the B2B invitation system based on social networks. One of our customers has brought dozens of industrial account registration on the platform. And here are 2 competitive advantages: the virality that our innovative network system provide, and the fact that we are the first player in Spain, in Southern Europe, and in the Spanish-speaking countries. In the sector of real-time transportation visibility platforms, there are a few international players, and there are rapid movements of investment acquisitions, as you can see. And this team slide, Francisco, he's my technical co-founder. He's a tech engineer and developer, and I have more than 15 years of experience in freight forwarding sector as well as in team management. We highlight here our technical and commercial agreement with the PTV group, which, in addition to technical resources, has already provided us with several quality leads, and we are preparing some marketing campaigns with them. And that's all. Thank you for your attention, and I am at your disposal for any questions that may arise.
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much, Jesus. Again, also on time.
Okay.
So I've just got a quick question while we're waiting for people to ask something from the audience. What's your competitive advantage? So you said that you're the first player in the Spanish-speaking markets, and then you talked about some acquisitions. But what's your main selling point? Why would people use your system compared to other systems around the market?
We have, as I explained you, a competitive advantage. We think in our growth system, we follow the strategy of product-led growth, and we have developed a very interesting growth system based on invitations between carriers and shippers, which create a network of free accounts and premium accounts that share information between themselves and can bring us leads, and also we have a marketing process established for get these leads into customers. And talking about the customer segmentation, we are also targeting more medium-sized enterprise, medium-sized industries that are competitors. And we think that our pricing could be more affordable than the pricing of our competitors also.
Is it more competitive, or you think it will be more competitive?
More competitive.
It is more competitive. Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, I can't see any questions from the audience. So what I'll do, we'll bring you back in a bit. There are 2 people to go. So I'll put Marco, if you could start sharing your screen. And if not, I'll jump to Lionel, who's already doing it, and then we'll come to Marco last. He's sharing now. Okay, so thank you very much, Jesus, and we'll see you again in a sec. And Marco, I will add your stream. At the moment you're sharing your, I can see that you're going to have a view because you've got us on screen.
Yeah.
If you change that and if you put the presentation on there,
oh,
there you
yeah,
go,
yeah.
brilliant.
Oh,
yeah, no, perfect. There you go. And okay. I'll let you go, and it's all you.
Okay, thank you, Tom. So, hello, I'm Marco Palacios, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Sideways. In Sideways, we like to say we improve the way people move. We are doing this by building the first unipersonal autonomous vehicle, and we are using this vehicle to penetrate different markets. So, of course, you can think that having an unipersonal autonomous vehicle, you can have it implemented into city transportation, you can have it into stadiums, into shopping centers, hospitals, airports, and almost everywhere, if you think about it. So in totally, this multiple market opportunity sums up for more than 1.6 trillion euros. So it's a huge, huge opportunity to conquer. But as big as it is an opportunity, it's also a challenge. So we had to be really careful when we were selecting which beachhead market we were selecting for starting our technology. So after a very, very careful study, we chose hospitals. Why? You might be asking. Well, there are several reasons. In first, hospitals is more than a $300 billion market, so the size tag is ticked there. But mainly is because they have 3 huge problems that we are solving with our technology. The first problems hospitals have is that for example, when we were speaking to Mayo Clinic, to the chair of engineering, he was talking to me about the problems they had with hospital tracking. So currently, all the hospital transportation related to wheelchair is done in manual wheelchairs, and manual wheelchairs don't have any sort of GPS tracking, any sort of beacon tracking. They don't have anything. So they are just in the hospital, laying there in every floor and kind of lost there. So this has caused for hospitals that every year they are losing more than 25% of their wheelchair fleets year after year after year. And it's a huge pain. Like going back to my previous example, Mayo Clinic, they have more than 2,000 wheelchairs. So they are losing more than 500 wheelchairs every year. It's a huge pain. Then coming to the second problem, and I'm sure all of you have experienced this, I have. When going to the hospital and you are navigating the hospital, more than 40% of the patients get lost. Why? Well, it's pretty simple because they have these sort of lines with different colors printed on the walls, and those lines are supposed to guide you to the hospital. But in reality, all of us get lost in hospitals, and it's kind of hard to navigate. So you'll agree on that with me. And then the third problem, which is like those other 2 I mentioned are big problems, but this thing is like even the biggest. Which is lack of optimization of the porters. Porters, for those of you who don't know, are the persons that are hired by the hospital to push the wheelchairs around and to carry the internal hospital transportation in hospitals. And currently, when a porter is transporting one person from point A to point B, he has to manually take the wheelchair, locate it, put the patient in the wheelchair, drive manually to the other point, leave the patient there, and then leave and put the wheelchair wherever, and then it gets lost again. And every day, they are spending more than 30 minutes just trying to figure out where they put the wheelchair. So it's a huge problem. Of course, we are not the only ones aware of this. So there are some companies that are doing solutions based on the software side of things, such as Connexion and Maps People. And they have a solution, a digital solution that integrates with Google Maps, and you can put a really precise address, like room 256 in Hospital La Paz, and your phone, thanks to their technology, will take you there. And that is a very good technology, but it's not solving the problem of transportation, because in the end, it's just following a map, and people can get lost doing that. And then you have companies doing some things in the end of hardware, such as Wheel, which is a very innovative startup doing electric wheelchairs, and they are trying to do a pilot. Well, currently they are piloting the technology of autonomous wheelchairs in airports. And when we were building Sideways, what we wanted to do was to build a solution that was as efficient as software, cost-wise, and as efficient as Wheel in the hardware thing. So our solution is a module that attaches to an electric wheelchair joystick as a control unit, and together with our path planning technology and our SLAM algorithms, it's able to drive the wheelchair autonomously. But the main benefit is that we don't have to develop a wheelchair from the ground up. We only have a module that is put on top, is placed on top of an electric wheelchair joystick and drives the wheelchair around. So this helps hospitals to save a lot of money in porters, be more efficient in their internal operations, and most importantly, it improves the biggest KPI of a hospital, which is the number of patients they can support in an hour, which is really important. And then for the team doing this, we are a small team of 4 people. Our CTO recently left due to a huge personal problem, so we are currently in a hiring stage, looking for an expert in SLAM, robotics, and path planning. And then you have myself. I'm 20 years old. I dropped out of automotive engineering. I hold more than 2 patents for improving wheelchair mobility. I've won awards by MIT, by TransferWise. I've been nominated to Forbes 30 Under 30, and I love the mobility side of things. Then you also have Fernanda, who is helping us in operations, and Jorge, who is carrying out the design. We have a team of 8 investors that trusted us in our early stage for product validation and technology validation. And to wrap it up, our next steps are that we are currently evolving our technology. So that thing I showed earlier that is not very pretty to look at, we are currently building a 3D printed version, which is really flashy and with a really cool design. And we are very close to closing that. Then we are also speaking with more than 15 Spanish hospitals to pilot our technology, and they have huge interest on the project. And then once we achieve those 2 key metrics for us, we're going to raise our next round of around 650,000 euros for growing our team. Mainly, we want to hire 4 engineers and further develop the technology into a very robust system. So that's all from me. I hope you like Sideways and what we are doing. And if there is anything I can help, be sure to reach out at this email. And thank you for your time.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Marco. God, 20 years old, it makes me feel very old. Anyway, Marco, listen, you talked about the savings, so 30 minutes a day for the porters to find wheelchairs in hospitals, and 25% of them actually get lost, which unfortunately doesn't surprise me. It should, in a perfect world, right? How does the cost benefit work? I mean, how much does one of these systems cost, and how much of it is that saving actually? Even if it's just ratio, you don't need to give exact figures.
That's a very good question, Tom. So you have 2 things on the scale. First, you have what porters make every year. So how much does it cost a hospital to pay a porter? On the US, that's around $35,000 every year. That's the average salary of a porter in the US. And for our technology, our idea is to have it as a service. So we want to have wheelchairs as a service. So we want to implement this as a monthly subscription. And our idea is for the service to be under $20,000. So the saving would be the yearly cost of a porter less, and then you subtract our cost, which is around $20,000. But as I'm saying, these are some estimates. Our objective is to close a private pilot with a hospital to validate the technology and validate our value proposition, and then determine the pricing. But more or less, that could be a rough idea, a rough estimate for you to make an idea.
So apart from the fact that you wouldn't lose the wheelchairs, which is incremental income, in theory, the payback would be under a year for a hospital. Apart from the fact that also porters work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and an autonomous wheelchair can work 24 hours a day.
24/7, exactly.
Yeah, seven days a week.
Yeah,
okay.
That's our idea, and yeah, more on that. Like talking to you, also gain the efficiency side of things. So a wheelchair that is currently always located all the time, when you say go to room A, it doesn't have to look for itself like currently porters have to search for wheelchairs. So there's also a huge time saving there and a better patient perception. So for your service, when you request a wheelchair, you have to be like half an hour waiting for a wheelchair to arrive because it's much more efficient.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. And how far? I mean, how long are you away from actually being able to launch the first pilot? How many months will it take?
Not very far away. So we are, like, as I said, like 2 weeks ago, my co-founder had to leave due to a huge personal problem. So this was kind of a hard moment in the startup. But now we've been in the hiring process, and we are looking to hire a CTO like in 2-3 weeks from now. So from that point onwards, we have like 2 months left of development, more or less. And then we'll go for a pilot. So say that by the end of 2020, we'll be working on a pilot in a private hospital.
Brilliant. Okay, fantastic. Well, I can't see any questions from the audience. So what I'll do, we'll bring on Lionel, who's the last one, and then I'll bring you all back on screen.
Right.
So
perfect.
thank you very much, Marco. Hi, Lionel. So I will add your stream. At the moment, you're showing us on the screen. So if you could just put the presentation on the, and then I'll start sharing. Otherwise, everybody will see that from there. We go. Okay, fantastic. Okay, I'll say goodbye now. And
Hello.
It's all yours.
Hello, I'm Lionel, the founder and the CEO of YouShip. YouShip is an on-demand delivery platform that provides an efficient and cheaper delivery option by connecting any business with local couriers. The total market of parcels is a big market that accounts for 150 million euros. In fact, the e-commerce is growing 50% by year, and 80% of users are willing to pay for fast delivery. However, the last mile faces 3 issues: the customer service level, the costs, and the environment issues. So I think that YouShip can make the difference. YouShip is a delivery platform that connects users and the delivery drivers. In real time, YouShip match the couriers according to the package type, delivery window, and location. Very quickly, YouShip is a mobile app where the users can request the deliveries and the drivers accept the orders and complete the jobs. The user can track the order and rate the delivery experience. Our business model is a 20% commission fee in each delivery. The service price range from 5 euros to 40 euros and depends on the distance and the package type. Obviously, there is competition. Our main competitors are the traditional couriers that operate local in the single city. However, there are a few players in the global market like Stuart or Peck. Our competitive advantages are the range of package type, providing instant delivery, next day delivery, and a video option, and very important, we work with local couriers. We have started on the market in 2018, delivery 4 orders by day. Right now, we are delivering about 60 orders by day and operating in 10 cities in Portugal. The plan to the current year is to grow in Portugal and to do the first pilot in Spain. And the next year, we plan to grow in Spain and enter in France and Italy. And finally, the team. Our team has experience in management, sales, operation, and technical development. we have raised 260k euros, and we are looking for others 260k euros. Thank you.
Brilliant. So you caught me by surprise there. I thought you were going to go on for longer, and I was on the screen. So Lionel, I know a little bit about last mile logistics. So as I understand it, this is a marketplace basically between the demand, the end customers, the B2B customers, and freelance couriers with vans, I guess their own vans. What's your level of invoicing and your geographical coverage at the moment?
At the moment, we are working in Lisbon, Porto, Coimbra, Aveiro, Faro, about 10 cities in Portugal.
Okay.
We work with a distance of 15 kilometers in the local cities.
And most of the deliveries are what type of delivery are you? I imagine grocery has grown. If you have grocery customers, grocery will have grown during the COVID-19. And I think previous to that, if I remember from an old deck of yours that I saw, you were working with IKEA, or at least it was some furniture company. What's your current sort of mix of customers?
Yes, the major package type are small to big package. However, in the last month, we have get new clients like groceries and pharmacies that are customers, new customers for us due to the COVID-19. Yes, it's true.
And how's your traction been during that period? So what if your invoicing in 2018 was, I don't know, 100? What's your invoicing going to be in 2020?
We are planning to have about 100k in the revenue.
Per month or
revenue,
for the year? But per month or for the year? Okay, all right. So it's a very seed stage at the moment. Okay, fantastic. And what was your invoicing last year to get an idea of the
yes.
traction?
Was 54k euros.
Okay, so you're basically doubling this year. Okay,
yeah.
Fantastic. All right, there don't seem to be any questions. So we do have two questions that still were to be answered from before. So I'll bring everybody on screen. So this is going to be a bit interesting. And then Juliana doesn't seem to be there, so we won't see her. But I will put the two questions that were missed, and if anybody has any additional ones, please ask them, that were missed whilst we were going along. So the first one was, if I remember correctly, for Smart Monkey.
Okay. Could you elaborate a bit more on how it works with fleets? Yeah, basically, what the system works as they send us basically the places that they have to be. They define how the vehicles they have usually working on, and we plan the route. Based on this plan, the drivers had like a web app where they can follow the route, and this web app is generating data that allows us to learn how the customers behaves. After a few weeks, we are able to improve this planning. And while this happens, the managers are able to move and to generate and to adapt and to supervise the routes that we are suggesting to them. So this is a little bit how it works for fleet. So for them, it's extremely easy to use. I mean, we have people that in less than 30 minutes, they're on board, understanding perfectly how it works. Obviously, depending on how complex are their operations, maybe it requires a little bit more because at the end, it's like very complex very complex restrictions that you have to consider. But once you understand how it works, it's really, really easy. And the solution, it's pretty well for them, and they save tons and tons and tons of hours.
Okay, fantastic. And then the only other question that we have for the moment, and no more are coming in, was for Visiocargo, if I remember correctly.
Well, yes, I see that the question is what stages from the transportation process does the tracking cover? And we are focused on road transportation of trailer loads, full track loads, or less than a track load, which is the standard in the road transportation, the full trailer load. And we can work with almost any industry or vertical. At this time, we're working with the chemical sector and with the metallurgy sector, but we can also work for textile, food sector, construction, automotive, and from this can be done from a factory to the distribution center or inbound logistics also.
Fantastic. Well, there aren't any other questions for the moment. So with that, unless somebody asks something in the last second, we'll call it a day for the moment. Thank you, everyone, for the pitches. I know it's not easy to transmit energy through these pitches. Oh, Leanna's back for the photo at the end. I know it's not easy to transmit energy, and it's quite difficult to do. But I think you've done a really good job. And for any of the investors that are connected at the moment, if you need decks, introductions, one pages, just ask myself, Macarena, Andrea, and we'll make sure that it gets sent to you. And then just a reminder that the next session is next Wednesday at 12 o'clock, and then we'll be doing another one on the 21st, another one on the 28th at 12 o'clock, and then on the 3rd of September we'll bring everybody back, investors and startups, all back together for networking on a very cool online platform. So guys, thank you very much for your time. Take your screenshots if you want to. Now's the moment, and if not, I'll give you 5 seconds to do that, and if not, then we'll get going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and now we're going. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thank you, Tom.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.